Grandma. Say Chris. Sharon.
Mom. I said Mom.
Can you see my whole body?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Lee Eastris, and I would like to thank God, first of all, for letting me be in this class and letting me be healthy enough to do this sort of thing. I was born in Greenville, South Carolina. Here's my notes. In 1965 to an elderly mother who was 44 when she had me. 7 years later, she died. And luckily for me, I had siblings that were older than I was. And fortunately, I got to live with them, and I moved around a lot as I was growing up between sibling to sibling. And as I graduated, I started working for my brother, who was a painter. And I knew from an early age I did not want to be a painter. So one day I was painting, and well, before that, I had a brother-in-law that had been in the Navy on the West Coast. And he inspired me to go into the Navy. He told me about all these great adventures and everything. And, you know, it just sounded like a dream. Have you ever been to prison? I've been to prison. I'll get back to that later.
But not as a.
Okay. So anyway, I was painting with my brother, and this paint just wasn't going very well, so I decided that I was going to go join the Navy. So I threw my paintbrush down, and sure enough, I went and enlisted in the United States Navy. I left December 14th, 1988, and graduated in February 20th, 1989. From there, I was stationed at Lakehurst, New Jersey, Naval Air Station, Lakehurst, New Jersey, where I went to A school for aircraft firefighting and rescue. Upon completion of aircraft firefighting and rescue, I was stationed on board the USS America out of Norfolk, Virginia. On a med deployment in 1986, we conducted a combat operation called El Dorado Canyon. El Dorado Canyon was a combined mission between the USS America and the USS Coral Sea, where we bombed targets in Tripoli, Libya, in regards to Muammar Gaddafi. Later on in the same deployment, we had a CH-46 C-9 helicopter blow up, crashed, landed while doing vertical replenishments. After the helicopter landed, my job as a crash crewman and air rescue was to go inside the burning aircraft and rescue the pilots. Luckily for me, the pilots were able to get out on their own. They went into the ocean right off the catwalk. They were picked up by an Italian barge. Once the aircraft fire was extinguished, I was lucky enough to be a part of a four-man team that got to go with the aircraft on an Italian barge that we downloaded it to, and we went to Sigonella, Sicily. From there, I got to make phone calls home, which is the first time I had talked to my family in about 2 months. I later decided, due to all the deployments, I did not want to stay in the military, so I got out and became a civilian fireman. I worked for a fire department in Greenville, South Carolina called Gant Fire Department for about 3 months. And at that point, I decided that I wanted to be in the military again, so I joined the Army. I went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, and I went to airborne school at Fort Benning, Georgia. From there, I was stationed in the 82nd Airborne Division, where I saw combat in Operation Just Cause in Panama, where some CIA agents had been held captive for the 1987 coup attempt on Manuel Noriega. And from there, after that was over, approximately 8 months later, we deployed to Saudi Arabia for the first Gulf War. We were there about 8 months, saw combat there. A lot of combat, aircraft going overhead with just tons and tons of bombs off in the distance at night. It was like the worst thunderstorm you ever saw. Lightning flashing and thunderings, and just it was surreal. And from there, I decided to get out of the Army, and I joined the United States Department of Justice, where I was in prison for 7 years on a 24-hour shift with 21 years total, 24 years total service. It works out to about 7 years straight in federal prison. I was a supervisor for the federal prison, and while I was there, I ran the whole everyday operations, and that's why I wanted you to know that if you've ever been in prison, I know exactly what you went through. In conclusion, I want to thank you for letting me know or giving me this opportunity to be in school. Thank you for my beautiful wife and my 3 children and my mother-in-law for helping. And I just thank you so much for all you do. Pan the audience.
T-Ma.
Turn around on yourself.